Alright, good morning, folks. I thought I would take a few minutes and go over the syllabus for you online people so that you're not just reading it, and plus this will give you be able to put a face with a name. So my name is David Devaney. I am your lecture instructor for the online 163 basic anatomy and physiology course. For those of you on the Caldwell campus, I will be also your lab instructor. And for those of you on the Watauga campus, you'll have Dale Harrington as your lab instructor. But I thought I would quickly kind of go over the syllabus a little bit. I do expect that you also read it and keep up with things there, but I'll run through it pretty quickly. And I'll just go over lecture stuff here, not lab. My office is E359 on the Caldwell campus. Best way to get in touch with me is email. My office hours are from 10 to 12 Monday through Friday, but if you need me sometime outside of that, then just let me know and I'll try to work something out with you. The textbook that we're using should look something like this. This is the bound version. The version you are getting is an unbound 3-ring binder version. Just do that to try to save you some money up front. You probably won't be able to sell those back since they're not bound. But even with the amount of money that you would get if you could sell this back, I'm still saving you some money there. Textbooks are expensive, and I realize that. So that's your text. This is the 11th edition. This one yours will come with a code, and I'm not going to make that actually mandatory this semester. The code is used for things called mastering A&P. It's some things through the publisher that kind of let you have study aids and things like that. So I'm not going to make that mandatory this semester. I'm going to try it out. So if you end up buying a used book that the code doesn't work with, probably not a huge deal, but there will be some study aids that are optional that you could use with that. All right, you can read through some of those other course outcomes and all that stuff. Probably the big thing to hit on is attendance policy. I do take attendance in an online course, which I know sounds a little weird. The way I do attendance for an online course is if you complete assignments online for a given week. If you complete those assignments, then you're there for that week. If you don't complete them, then you're absent for that week. And I follow a 20% rule. So if you miss more than 3 weeks of work, I count that as 3 absences, you're still fine. Anything over 3, and then I have to drop you. So 20% is 3. If you miss over 20%, I drop you. So if you miss 4 weeks of work, I'm going to drop you from the course. You can also kind of read over the grading policy there. Kind of the way it works out in here is lecture is I'm going to have weekly kind of reading quizzes. Those are quizzes that will be online. You can take them as many times as you want, and it will only keep your highest grade. It's 20 multiple choice questions. Every time you open it up, you'll see some similar questions maybe, but a different set of questions each time until you take it about 5 or 6 times, and then you'll start seeing the same questions over and over and over again. I put those reading quizzes up until it's time to take the exam for that material. So these first 2 weeks, for instance, I'll have reading quizzes up for Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, and I'll leave those up until the day before you take the exam. And once I put the exam in the testing center, those reading quizzes will come down. You should use the online reading quizzes, as your study guide. I'm not one that believes in busy work, so if I give you something to do, and I kind of expect you to put some time into it, then it's going to be worth your while to do that. So I can't stress that enough. Spend a lot of time with those reading quizzes. Right, so one for every chapter. We'll have reading quizzes for every single chapter. Let's see. So that's the online quizzes. They will count 15%. Exams will count 80%. I'll have an exam about every other chapter. So 2 chapters per exam. The way the exams will work is they will be taken seated. So you will come to campus, go to the testing center for whatever campus you attend lab on, and you'll take those exams there. So if you're here on the Caldwell campus, you'll go to the testing center here on the Caldwell campus, and you'll take your exam there. If you're on the Watauga campus for lab, you'll go to the Watauga campus testing center, and you'll take your exam there. I'll put exams in the testing center on Mondays, and they will be there until Fridays. And it's up to you to kind of keep track of the hours that the testing center is open, when you can go, when you can't go. Usually they're closed for lunch, for instance, up on the Watauga campus, so you kind of have to keep track of that. But I give you from Monday to Friday, so that should be plenty of time to take those. Sometimes weather is an issue up on the Watauga campus, and I can work around those types of things, but usually one exam every other chapter, and you'll be taking them seated on the campus where your lab is. There are also multiple choice. We'll use Scantron sheets for those, so you'll need to take a Scantron sheet and a number 2 pencil with you to the testing center when you go. We're using a new Scantron machine this semester, so the Scantron sheets will look a little different if you've taken exams here. They'll look a little different than they have in the past, but the bookstore should be able to help you out with that. The other thing I have for you online folks are study questions. So towards the ends of every chapter, there's some questions that I'm going to have you answer and turn in. And that's just kind of a way to make sure that you're kind of keeping up in the text, and that counts 5%. So 80% exams, 15% reading quizzes, 5% study questions. If you do those study questions and put some time in, that should be an easy 5%. As far as the reading quizzes go, that should be another easy 15%, because again, you can take those as many times as you want to, and it's only going to keep your highest grade. They're all multiple choice. Students that take those reading quizzes at least 6 times or more per chapter in my course are the ones that make A's and B's in my course. So again, I cannot stress keeping up with that. Take advantage of those reading quizzes. Right, we'll have a cumulative final at the end. If you do better on that cumulative final than you did on one of your previous exams, then I'll replace that previous exam. I don't really drop exams, but I will replace it if you do better on the final. And I think that's a fair deal. Grading system you can look over. We're on a 10-point scale here now, so that should be pretty self-explanatory. So I've got some notes there. This is an online course. The only way I really have to speak with most of you is through email. So send me emails, let me know if things are giving you problems, or if there seems like there's a quirk with something in Moodle. Let me know, because if it's a problem for you, it's probably a problem for everybody else as well. Student accommodations, if there's something you require from me, like time and a half or a distraction-free environment or one of those types of things for exams or whatever, you kind of have to go through academic support with some documentation, and they send me things and let me know what you need. You can't just come to me and say I have test anxiety and I need this or that. It has to be documented, and it has to come through student support. You can also read through the course sequence there. It's kind of tentative, but we'll pretty much stick to that as is. So that's a pretty quick crash course through the syllabus and kind of how things will run in here. But again, the take home here is keep up with reading quizzes every single week. Make sure you allot some time for those reading quizzes. Also, study questions every single week. Just spend a little time every day, 30 minutes even, every day working on those study questions, and you should have no trouble getting those in. Our week runs from Monday through Sunday night. So study questions went live this morning, and I'll keep those live all the way through midnight next Sunday. And then the next set of study questions will go up for the next chapter. So we run Monday to Sunday in here. And I think that pretty much covers it. Keep up in here, especially with the online stuff. It's easy to get behind. You should allot yourself some time, just as if you were coming to campus to sit in a lecture. Allot yourself that time, and you shouldn't have any trouble in here. If you start having trouble, let me know. We'll usually have some supplemental instruction or some tutoring set up down in academic support for the course. And if you need that, shoot me an email, talk to me, let me know, and I can do everything I can for you to help you there. I think that's it. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. Enjoy the semester.